properties are in it properly and they have products that you'd be interested in. So we're here talking to Edwin Kiranga, who is the MD for Diamond Properties. So talk to us, Edwin, and tell us, what does Diamond Property, have? What properties do you have? Who are you? Who's Diamond Properties?
Thank you very much for having me, and it's indeed a great pleasure that you've been visited by Faceofkenya, and we hope to interact a lot. Now, quickly, Diamond Property Merchants is a real estate company that was established about 16 years ago, just like a normal any other land selling company in Kenya. And over the past 16 years, we've enabled more thousands and thousands of Kenyans to own one of these lucrative real estate, which we call the land investment. But as time went by, we realized there was more to just land investment. It's not just about subdivision of land and selling plots. There was more to it. We live in an urban area whereby we have a lot of population increase, which is a major issue. We have housing, which is a major issue. One of the ways of becoming a homeowner, which is of course through land ownership, but we knew also we have the next phase is now affordable housing. So we changed our approach to the market, and that was 3 years ago. We called it strategic land investment, where number one, we invest a lot in research. It's not just about buying land because I had a friend of mine in diaspora bought land. I want to find out exactly what is it that is in this land. If I bought it right now, how does it look in the next 4 or 5 years? What is the end use of this particular land? So our strategic land investment is all about getting you land at the right price, at the right time, and of course at the right place, and of course for the right use. So when we brought this up 3 years ago, it made us change the market, became actually a game changer in the market. It saw Diamond Property Merchants frog leap most of our competitors in the market, brought out the top 100 mid-sized companies just by simply changing the approach. So what are we talking about right now? Nairobi is a cosmopolitan. We're looking at housing being the major issue. There are 3 ways of owning a home. I'll either rent an already built house, I'll either buy an already built house, or I'll either buy a piece of land and build my own. And all this is all about a real estate investment. So for me as an investor, I want to touch either of those parts. I want to buy, build, and rent. I want to buy for my own residential, or I want to buy a piece of land, eventually develop for rental or for my own residence. So Diamond Property is that one-stop shop that can guide you on all those 3 angles. So right now we have various projects going on, and Nairobi has 3 angles. I'm either investing along Thika Road, where we have higher value properties. I'm either investing on the high end, the Kilimani, the Dindigo, the Kilelesho area, extremely high end, purely high end apartments and mansionette, or I'm a middle income earner. I want to target the low income, because where the market is our economy is literally at the base. I have a few dollars here and there. I don't want to buy as an end user, but I want to invest in for the sake of the mass market. So Diamond Property Merchants will guide you accordingly, take you to a place where you'll acquire a parcel of land where you can either build up a block of apartments to take care of this mass market that is down here in need of a residential, or give you a place where we're in a gated community control development where you're purchasing pieces of land that you'll either convert into mansionettes or bungalows to take care of the need of the masses. So for me as an investor, I'm not just looking at being the end user. So I might be in diaspora and I want to buy real estate. For now, at the back of my mind, I know real estate is doing very well in Kenya, but when you do it strategically, it's even better. So you need to answer your question. Do you want to be the end user of that particular real estate? No. Do you just want to speculate? Then if you really want to speculate, there are better ways of speculating. We want to place you on the path of development. Where do we have the focus right now? Are we going to Kajiado? Are we going to Kiambu Road? Are we going to Isinya, whereby we have a parcel of land we've already subdivided? We have already approved plans and drawings for the housing, which is the affordable housing, and we've already done our research. The market is ready. So you purchase your 4 or 5 plots. We'll link you up with our developer who will construct for you 3, 4, 5 houses. Immediately they're completed, we have tenants ready. So for me as a real estate investor, be it locally or diaspora, I'm well aware that I did not just buy a real estate, but I bought a strategic real estate that actually ended up solving a problem, because it's all about providing solutions to the problem. Right now the biggest problem in Kenya is housing. We have this growing population, we have this mushrooming ghettos coming up here and there, the slums. The only way for us to eliminate the slums is if every Kenyan who has the will and the ability to play a part. Buy 4 or 5 plots if you can, buy to set up 2, 3, 4, 5 bungalows, become a tenant if you can. We're moving away from the idea of just buying land being what you initially seen as a real estate way of investing in real estate, to using that real estate investment as a way of providing solution to our our mass market.
Fantastic. Wow, that is well done and very impressive what Diamond has done in the property portfolio. You're telling me is big out there. But we're in the diaspora. We've been cheated so many times. Why would somebody choose Diamond? You've also said affordable housing. Affordable is such a big word. What is affordable? What price ranges are we talking about?
Good. Now, when it comes to real estate investment, there's one keyword: trust. Many of us have come there before us. They have done it. Stories are there. Investors have come in, both diasporans and even locals, because real estate has so much attention across the country right now. Everybody else wants to go in, but the stories, the reputation in real estate goes way beyond us. Now, as Diamond Property Merchants, we believe strongly that the only way we can sustain a brand name in the market is building trust. And I believe one happy client is worth 10 more clients, and one sad client is worth millions of lost market. So what you do is we really work a lot with we want to build trust in our investors, and that's why it all starts at the point of our research and even how we acquire our properties. For example, I have a project right now running along Kangundo Road. It's called Ebenezer, and it's not a one-off whereby I'll just sell you the land, issue you the title either on time or delayed, then I move away. It's A to Z. I'll start at the point of giving you the land, issue the title deed, link you up to a developer, build a home for you, then give you keys to that particular house. Now, this is not a 1 month transaction. It's more or less, sometimes it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years. And in those 3, 4, 5 years, if the trust wasn't there from day one, so many things can go wrong in there. So our model alone, our strategic approach model of investment binds us with our customers. We actually connected at the hip. So literally, trust is the key thing. So it goes all out in terms of how do we source for properties? Are they really strategic? Are they free of any encumbrances? So that when we engage you from diaspora, we'll not want to come back tomorrow with a story of we thought it was, but it wasn't. Very key for us. Now, I spoke about affordable housing. How affordable is affordable? I want to give an example. Right now, apartments are, I think, that the commonly purchased properties or rented properties. And an average apartment along a place like Mombasa Road will retail for about 6 million Kenyan shillings. A majority of us don't have money. We go for bank loans called mortgages. A bank will quickly finance you 6 million at a normal current interest rate of 15%. You'll end up paying the bank about 70,000 Kenyan shillings a month for the next 20 years. Now, if you're an investor like myself and you want to rent it out to him, literally you're getting a house rent of about 20,000 or 30,000 per month. So look at it. You're obtaining a rent return of 30,000 per month. You're paying the bank 80,000 per month. There's no affordability in there. Literally, even if the house will appreciate, which of course it will in the near future, you will never catch up with the credit facility that you're paying. So there's no affordability. So we have to break it down. Why is there a mismatch between the bank credit facility and whatever you get as returns from real estate? If the two of them don't match, then there's no affordability. So we have to go back to the models of construction. Which are the methods being used? Are we sticking to the mortar and stone and mortar, or can we embrace the new technology? Then we realize there's more value in the new technology. Number two, we also realize land, being the fact of production, has a major role to play in the affordability of that particular house. Today you'll find a piece of land at 2 million. By the time you build up a house at a cost of 7-8 million, it's about 10 million. If you're to get finance along all that, then the value of the land alone messes the equation. So we break down your cost of home ownership first of all at the land. First, can we get you a land that is affordable? We bring in the economies of scale. You don't need to go out and now build on your own. So like right now, I have a project going for about 50 buyers. We've done everything. We brought down all the amenities for you. We're telling you, listen, this mansionette, a 5-bedroom mansionette that you'd buy at 15 million Kenyan shillings, where the bank credit facility will never match the rental return, you can actually build that house at 7 million. But how? First of all, we put 50 of you together. We've sourced a single service provider, so you're already benefiting on the economies of scale. Number two, we've actually broken down some of the initial costs, the plans, drawings, and approvals. So if something that you would have done on your own as an individual that would have cost you an extra shilling, everything has been taken care of. Then, of course, we are also negotiating with the contractors. If I was to go out as Edwin, I need a contractor to come and work on my own house. I'll be told probably a square feet will cost me 70,000-80,000 per square feet. However, we have 50 of you in the same zone. Materials are being sourced collectively. Everything is found in there. So you'll find your you're cutting down the cost of constructing that particular house by almost 30%, and that is savings. So literally, by the time you're done building your house at about 7 million, on the market valuation, it's the same 15 million like the person who bought. So we've cut you the cost of buying, where you have the profit margin. We've literally worked with you from the point of buying the land. It's like you purchased your own materials, you've constructed until the end. Yet you did not participate. Diamond did almost everything for you. We source the land for you. We have our contractor. We do the project management until the end of the day when you have a key. So we cut in all these middlemen who normally inflate the process. That's what we call affordability. A house that you'll buy at 6 million in the market, being able to construct it in your own design at 3 million. You've cut a lot of cost. You've halved the cost. And even though if you were to get a bank to finance that and you want to rent it out, then you realize the rental return will match the cost that the bank has financed. That's all about affordability.
Now, with that in mind, saying you've got so much going on, affordability, you've got good profile out there, let's talk about the Kenyan people. What is the attitude of the Kenyan people when it's come to the housing market?
Now, I'll want to approach that by sharing some facts and some statistics. Currently, 22% of the Kenyan population is urban-based. Nairobi has a bigger portion, of course. We have about 5% increment, annual increment every year. In fact, someone will ask, how come each and every day we have the informal settlements mushrooming nowadays? People used to buy the high-end areas, the rundas, for exclusivity, but nowadays mention any high-end residential, next to it there is a slum. Question is, why is it coming up? Because number one, we have 22% of the entire population in the city. We have 5% increment each and every year. The government requires to construct at least 120,000 units every year to meet this demand. Unfortunately, they are only able to provide about 40,000 units. So we realize, and that's why real estate now becomes attractive, an attractive investment. So you have 22% in the urban center. The government is unable to meet the demand for the housing, but you and I can actually play a part. So, and that's why Diamond comes in. So you have the money, you have the will. Diamond will tell you, okay, we have the research, we know where to put the money, and the population is all there. Their consumption, we will never meet this demand, not now, not tomorrow. Probably if we can help the government, we might end up getting to 100,000 units a year, which is still way below the demand. But the beauty about it is, for me as an investor, I have seen a need, I've seen a will and a way towards meeting that particular need. So do you want to invest into apartments? Yes, you'll get people to rent them. You want to invest into bungalows and mansionette? Yes, there's already a hungry population somewhere waiting to move in. Unfortunately, the wage bill and the returns and the way the economy is, a majority of a population cannot afford to build for themselves. They cannot afford to own for themselves. But the 30-40% of us who can, as we move up the ladder in the economy, we can be able to provide 3, 4, 5 units for the rest of the mass market down here. So for me as a real estate investor, it will not make no sense for me to go about being proud that I now own 7 parcels of land. However, it will make much more sense if I say that I have 7 parcels of land and I've managed to rent out 8 units.
So you can actually advise somebody, if you have like 10 pieces of land, sell some of those lands and actually use some of the money to build? You build,
because the solution does not lie in you owning a parcel of land. Actually, by you owning multiple parcels of land, you're part of the problem.
You're stagnating them.
You're part of the problem. We said earlier, these populations need a roof over their head. Most of them cannot afford a roof over their head, but me and you can play a part. Become a tenant if you can. And the market is there, and that's our approach to investment. So I'll not just rush and sell you land because you want to buy land from Diamond Property Merchants. I'll want to understand exactly at what level of investment are you able to partner with us and help us provide a solution to this existing problem of housing. And if that's the case, then we'll run with you the whole mile. Our friends in diaspora have said, you know what, I have used relatives, I've used friends. Mostly when it comes to construction, we have sad stories. Initially I was given a BQ of 5 million. By the time I began that construction, I ended up spending 15 million. Later on, I did valuation. My house was not even worth 10 million. Because there's so much involvement, there's so many hands in here, and everybody is hungry. Yes. So we say we want to save you the pain. The land is available, the means towards construction is available, and we have the A to Z. Let us walk with you from the first step to the last step. We have seen a problem, which is now the population that needs residential. We want to settle them. Diamond Property cannot do that alone. Yes, we are already in the process of building a few apartments here and there for rental and some of them for sale, but we realize we cannot do that alone. We have the most affordable thing, which is the land, which is the fact of production. We can actually partner with some of our investors and make sure that they become the end beneficiary. Get your 2, 3, 4, 5 parcels of land, construct a couple of houses, rent them out. And I mean, as you are in the diaspora, your house appreciating in value, you have a rental. In fact, I was having a discussion with some of my diaspora friends, and I'm like, if you're supporting your parents in Kenya, don't send them handouts every month. Let them let them collect the rents from your returns, because if you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, they'll not only be collecting the rent return from these houses, but these houses are appreciating each and every year. Every time you come in, you realize your property is actually appreciated and you're making more returns.
Fantastic. Now, I mean, you've talked about Diamond's property, and I've listened to you. There's a lot of your properties around the vicinity of Nairobi. So talk to me about your plans for other counties, because there are going to be some diaspora who will be like, I come from Kericho, I come from Kisumu, I come from Mombasa. How do you engage with those clientele?
Now, we have a county-to-county project coming up, but in the meantime, I'll talk about a mega project right now that is already outside Nairobi County. For the very longest time, the government has had a plan to decentralize industrialization within the city, and that has been a major source, a major problem, whereby we have so many global brands that want to set up shop in Kenya. Unfortunately, our congestion and the traffic situation is a nightmare. Some have tried moving away from the CBD, going toward the upper hill areas, Westland, but the problem is still there. So earlier in 2008, there was a project called Konza Techno City that was conceptualized, but it was just a rumor. Nobody really knew exactly what this was all about, but we've been following keenly with a lot of research. A couple of years ago, there's been a lot of hype going on around Konza Techno City, and it's now alive and kicking. The first building is coming up, but from our understanding and our research, Konza Techno City will be the Silicon Savannah of Africa. Companies will come and set up shops in there. That creates another whole demand of its own in terms of residential. When you have a CBD somewhere in Machakos, Makueni County, we will need people, the employees will need somewhere to settle. So what Diamond did earlier, at the early stages of Konza development, we acquired a parcel of about 400 acres around that particular area, because we knew we must conceptualize a nice great community control development that will absorb this population that will be working within Konza. Now, who is our target market within Konza? Who will go and do what you call the buy and build? Because it's a buy and build. You're buying the plot, then you'll construct a house later. Who is our target market for this buy and build project? We're not targeting the people who will be working within Konza. We are targeting the real estate investors. Go and purchase your plot in there now while it's still affordable. Then a time is coming in the next 2, 3, 4 years, you'll convert those 3, 4, 5 plots into a couple of houses. Who will be your tenants? The employees working within the Konza Tech City. Those will be your market. Now, right now, this during conceptualization, an acre of land, this is in 2008, an acre of land will go for 350,000 Kenyan shillings, because nobody knew what this is all about. Flash forward to 2012, after the groundbreaking, the price shot up to about 1.52 million. But still, people are not very sure, because real estate rely a lot on speculation. We've had a rumor that this will come to be. Now, in last year, when they did the groundbreaking and now the first building was coming up, now people could actually see it's no longer a rumor, but now a reality. Prices first shot up from 2 million to 1.52 million. Right now, an acre is going for 3.5 million. Now, we have a project down there, because we acquired early and it's still affordable. You'll get a piece of land at 490 Kenyan shillings, which is an eighth of land, that you 490,000, yes, which will later set up a house between 1.5 million to 5 million worth of a house, depending on your budget. But the beauty about that is we are already creating the next big South B or the next big South C, where we shall be resettling the employees within Konza. So my plea to the investors right now is, it's no longer a rumor, it's a reality. At least for now, the price is still affordable. What has it? Okay, the research showed in the next 3 years, it will be almost next to impossible to get land around that particular area at anything less than $1 million. Because most of us, either due to lack of information, we rely on rumors. I heard it was, but it wasn't. I heard it was, it wasn't. So right now, research shows it's no longer a rumor, it has picked up. So we have a key focus that we have about 3,000 plots left on sale right there, be it on the diaspora market. You're saying, listen, you might invest as a person, but also you might also be able to influence a group. So go influence a group. It can be a group X from diaspora. We want to buy as a group. Buy 20 plots and you get a further discount. Instead of 490 per plot as an individual, you're buying at 350,000. So I am looking forward towards organized groups. They can be people working together or people with a common interest. You've heard about this news. Be able to share it with 3, 4, 5 more people. Come together as a group. We're really encouraging group mentality. The economies of scale. Bring together 20 of you. You have 20 plots and you're buying at 350,000. That's an asset on its own. When it comes towards even setting up the plans and drawings for approval in terms of the housing, it's easier setup as a group. So again, so that's Konza. But again, in terms of other counties, we are going by demand. Like right now, Thika has really done very well within Kiambu. We have projects running down there. We have new demand coming up in Nanyuki, being the new exclusivity. People are now moving away from buying a house in Runda to Nanyuki. We know with technological advancement, I'll not need to come to Nairobi. I'll not need to come to Diamond to run my meetings. I'll Skype from my office. I'll Skype from from the comfort of my house. So people are running out there with this the new posh residential. So you have bigger projects coming out in Nanyuki. Plus there are a few other assets coming up. Naivasha with the dry port, fueled by the SGR. So you have a few various projects, but we are driven by demand. So as long as we have a new demand coming up and there's a need for real estate, as I say, don't just selling land, we are selling the land plus the end use of the land. Diamond will always be willing to go in there.
So what you're saying here is that people can organize themselves and come to Diamond with a proposal of this is what we want to do, like somewhere in Nakuru.
Definitely. So our work will be to go do the due diligence on your behalf, source for the best land that's available at the right price and the right place, and then guide you and link you up and not just dump you there. If construction is what you wanted in terms of a controlled development gated community, we'll link you up with a developer. Let's say we need 50 units in Nakuru. We'll go link you up with a specific developer who will do the A to Z of construction. So you not only have the plot, but you have the plot as well as the housing plan, depending on whether we have the funds available, whether we are going for funding. Everything is set for us.
So let's talk. What is your message to the diaspora?
My message to the diaspora is, come, let's build Kenya. One of the big 4 agenda is affordable housing. It's so sad that 60% of our urban population is living in the slums. Not because they can't afford a decent home on their own in terms of rental, but because you and I haven't played our part. So we've done the first part. We have a plan. We need you to come and plug in our plan. Let us convert these numbers. We cannot have Kenyans 60% living in the slums, whereas we have some nice, decent homes, affordable homes coming up. But as I say, Diamond can't do it alone. We want to help you invest in this dream. Let's make Kenya a better place.
Thank you. Thank you very much, viewers. That is Edwin, Diamond Property Merchants, and I'm saying the stuff they've got in plan for you is huge. Most of the things that you've heard out there is that it's not trustworthy. Let me tell you something. It depends on the people you're talking to. Kenyan has the best professionals in the market. In fact, they're sourced out globally. But if you don't use them because you don't trust them, Kenya is still going forward. Where are you with your investment? Until next time, viewers, goodbye.